Question 6H. It's a great one. Straight up, here's some things, and here's a coordinate plane. Graph them. It says on the set of axes below, graph the following system of inequalities, and then label the solution set S, like we told you they would have you do. Now, a little follow-up question at the bottom. We'll deal with that. So to graph any equation or inequality on a graph, what letter needs to be by itself? Y. Y needs to be by itself. I look at both of these and I say, well, darn it, it's not. So we have a little bit of work to do. We have some space up here. We'll work it out. I got to solve them both. So I'll write the first one right here. 2x minus y is greater than 4. We'll solve him. And then the other one, oh, I don't know. I'll write him over here. X plus 3y is greater than 6. So solve them one at a time for y. Let's do the red one first because I wrote it down first. So you can draw your line if you want, if it makes you feel better. I'm solving this for y, so the first thing I should move is that 2x. It's a positive 2x, so we get rid of it by negative 2xing it. And if you do it to one side, you got to do it to both sides. Okay. 2x minus 2x cancels. That negative y comes down. That alligator comes down. 4 minus 2x. Do they have the same last name and they're combinable? No, they have different last names. 2's last name is x. 4 doesn't have one. So 4 minus 2x just spits it back at me as 4 minus 2x. I'm going to write in the margin because I have the technology. Y is almost by itself. There's still one more thing attached to it. It's painfully like right there. I wish I could get rid of it, but we got to get rid of it legally. That negative sign. The way we get rid of that negative invisible 1 is what do we have to do? Normally you do what to get rid of the piece attached to the variable you want to solve for? You divide. So we're going to divide this by that invisible, inconvenient negative 1. But if you divide one piece by negative 1, you got to divide everyone by negative 1. Okay? Last cleanup. So the negatives cancel, the negative and negative 1 cancel, so the y comes down. I'm going to leave the alligator alone for a minute. 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. Negative 2x divided by negative 1 becomes a positive with the last name of x, so 2x. Alligator. This is essential. When you divide by a negative, what's the rule? What happens with the inequality sign when you divide by negative? It flips. It turns around. I divided by negative 1, so my inequality sign flips around that way. I'm going to circle it because this inequality is ready for my graph. Now you can go ahead and graph it right now if you want. I like to get it all done at the front, so I'm going to go over and solve this one for y since my brain is kind of on that solving mode right now. Draw a line, solve for y. This one's not bad at all. Start by minusing x. Sorry, I'm going to kind of cut into those instructions down there. X's cancel. 3y comes down. Greater than sign. So I got to get a little creative with my space here. 3y greater than 6 minus x. These are not compatible, so it spits it back as 6 minus x. For the most part, when you're trying to solve to graph, guys, very rarely does stuff actually even combine. The only stuff that really cleans up is at the end when you divide. That's when stuff kind of interacts with each other, but for a while, it's just moving furniture around. All right, last step, got to solve for y, so I got to divide by 3. And if you divide one piece by 3, got to divide all of them by 3. Okay, clean up y. Does my inequality sign flip this time? It does not. I divided by positive 3, positive 3, positive 3, so it stays open that way. 6 divides by 3 nicely, 2. Negative x over 3 does not clean up at all because invisible 1 divided by 3 is going to spit it back. So I'm going to leave it in that form because my calculator has no problem dealing with it. Oh, I'm going to my graph a little bit. If you are solving, please don't go in your graph like I just did. You're not supposed to because it might count towards your graph. It shouldn't, but play it safe. Use all the margin. You'll have more space than I just used. I just wanted to fit it on here so we could see both of them. All right, time to graph them. So remember, when you graph, you grab your calculator, boop, and you plug them in y equals. I'm going to do them one at a time. I'll do the red one first. Negative 4 plus 2x, everything after the inequality sign. So I click y equals. Negative 4 plus 2x. I like to graph to an idea. Should look like that. Now I click second graph. How many points do we need for a line? We need 2. So I like 3, 2, and I like 4, 4. So I'll do it in red. 3, 2, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll put a couple. I can see the pattern now. It's a line. It's up 2 over 1, so I'll go down 2, left 1 to continue the pattern correctly. Okay. Now, before I draw my line, remember, with inequalities, it's either solid or dotted. So think about that when we get the ruler situated. So you should have a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, get a ruler. Don't freehand it. Well, as I just did that. There we go. I got my ruler. Should be long enough. Okay. So I'm going to position my ruler. Remember, we want to be accurate here. That looks pretty decent. Okay. So the line, before we just go right outside to outside, looking at the inequality sign, is this line solid or dotted? This is dotted. If the inequality does not have an underline, it is dotted. If it has that solid underline under it, it is solid. No underline means dotted. So when I go across with my ruler, I'm going to kind of just draw like the lines you might see on a road, that dotted line. So see how I'm doing this? Kind of going a little bit. Da, 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 da. Go up here a little bit more. Okay. Move the ruler out of the way now. Put him right there. Decorations, arrows, and label. So I'm going to draw arrows on both ends. Label, I'm going to write the original equation, the 2x minus y is greater than 4. I can fit it right down here. Try to put it in the margin. Okay, now, there is shading involved. It's up to you whether or not you want to do the shading right now or do it at the end. I like to do it at the end because I do it all at once. It's up to you, but if you want to do it now, you can shade it. It's less than. If you're not sure which way to shade, just continue watching the video and I'll show you. I'm going to graph the blue one now. So same thing. Go to y equals, plug it in the calculator, get your points. I'm going to use a little bit of 8th grade y equals mx plus b trickery here to be quicker about it. Has a y-intercept of 2, so I'm going to put a dot at 2. Has a slope of negative invisible 1 over 3, so down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. The more points you put, the easier it is for you to get your ruler really lined up. Down 1 over 3. Okay. So now we get our ruler. Let's get I think I can actually draw on either side of this ruler, so I don't need to be too picky about it. I'm sure this is very entertaining, huh? Watching me try and get a ruler lined up, that's pretty good. Okay. Pause the game. Solid line or dotted line? Look at the inequality sign. No line means dotted. Yes line means solid line. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to kind of go, whoopsie. I don't want to move my ruler on myself. I'm going to go through and just draw a dotted line just like that. Put another one in there. Okay. Whoop. Get them out of the way. Put them over there. Decorations, arrows. Label, I'm going to write the original one. X plus 3y is greater than 6. I think I can fit it right there. Just about. Okay. Now let's do the shading. I'll do the red one first. Read the inequality out loud. Y is, read that symbol. That is less than. So here's my red line, less than. Is less than going to be shaded upward at an angle or downward at an angle for less than? Less than is downward. So I'm going to draw my lines. I'm going to shade right to the border of that graph. So no short shading. Go all the way to the border. And as I shade, I'm pretending that blue graph isn't even on my paper. It's going right through it. Look at that. So this is less than. This is below it. One more. Okay. Now let's get the blue fella. Y is, read the alligator out loud, the inequality. Y is greater than. So greater than, am I going to shade up above or down below for greater than? Up above. So I'm going to kind of go like this. I'm going to get everything that's above that blue line. Go a little bit outside the coordinate plane, that's fine. And cut right through the red one as if he's not even there. If you think about it, that's when people start to shade it wrong. Okay? Beautiful. Not a hard problem, just a lot of little details, right? Now, it also said label the solution set with an S. The solution set is where the double shading is. If you look at this graph, hopefully it's obvious where the solution set is. Right here. So put a big letter S in there. Sometimes on the Regents, they make you put a random letter like A or P or whatever. So just be aware. Most of the time they ask for S. So put a big S there. Graph a couple lines. Solid versus dotted. Shading up or below. Got them. One baby question down here. Is 4, 2 a solution to the system? Justify your answer. So the first thing you should do is once you see 4, 2 is go look and see where it lands in the neighborhoods, right? So we're going to go up here. Switch to orange. So 4, 2, start from the middle. Okay, and then let's go to 4, 2. So write 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2, 1, 2. Lands right there on that yellow dot. The question is that yellow dot a solution to this system, yes or no? Yes, because it lands in the S where the double shading lives. It is in the solution set. If it lives in this double shaded area, it's in the solution set. Warning, warning, warning. If your point lands directly on a dotted line, it is not in the solution set. If it lands directly on a solid line, it is in the solution set. You can stand on a solid line. You can't stand on a dotted line. However, this time it's safely in the middle of the neighborhood. So yes, it is in the solution set because it's in the double shaded area. And that's exactly what we're going to write. So insert text box. Is it in the solution set? So it's yes or no. So first we're going to say yes. Well, we can even say 4, 2 to sound fancy. So 4, 2 is in the double shaded area or region or solution area, whatever you want to do. You need to have two parts here, yes or no, and how do you know? Yes, 4, 2 is in the double shaded area. Okay, 4-point Regents question right here. Not difficult, just took some time and being careful as I went, right? So there you go. System of inequalities. Oh, trying to move something around. And that's it.